The riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am, of course, one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me, as always, co-host extraordinaire, Barney to my Fred, Timothy Richardson. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
Whoa, Garrett. I am excited. I am enthusiastic. I am a little bit aroused. I am in the icy Pissmas mood this week. You'll notice, I'm sure you have noticed, Garrett, not only have I painted my face, I have painted the entire inside of our house with just over $8,000 worth of greasy white and black face paint. The entire house I've covered in I think is a pretty intricate monochromatic Christmas theme from all my favorite Christmas movies. Garrett, you'll recognize scenes from Jingle All the Way, Scrooge, The Grinch, Miracle on 34th Street, Gremlins, 1998's Godzilla, Elf, Home Alone 2, and that Martin Freeman, Joanna Page series of scenes from Love Actually. I think it looks great. It's admittedly a little bit greasy, and it might be a fire hazard, but you can't see anything but black and white. Also, the dogs have they've gotten into it. But other than that,
it's a mess.
Yes,
it's a mess.
They are ICP dogs now.
They're just gray.
Juggadogs.
Juggadogs. Tim, nothing, even you ruining the walls of here, the headquarters / our home, I'm not even going to, trying to ruin the ICP-mas spirit in me, and I'm not going to let you do it. But I'm going to ignore the fact that you've ruined the walls. I'm going to ignore the fact that you confusingly use face paint, which, here's the shocker of all shockers, gang. Face paint, when placed on a wall, seemingly never dries.
Oh, it never will.
Never dry.
Nope.
What is the deal with that?
I think it's
ironically, same face paint on a dog, instantly dry.
Yeah, it's because of the hair. They are still kind of greasy feeling, though, even dry.
That's true.
It might be, anyway. You know what? It's possible that the face paint forces the dog to produce its own grease, as it does with people.
Or it's mixing with the natural greases of the dog and forming some sort of dog paste. Dog paste aside, Tim, I'm vibrating with excitement. This is quite the season, folks. Tim, you mentioned you were a little aroused.
I'm more than a little aroused, Garrett.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so. And folks, Tim looks, I'm going to ignore everything that you've done to destroy our home / world headquarters, and I'm going to focus first on your general appearance. You look great. You are in the spirit. You are haunting. You are playful. And most importantly, you are jolly. So well done, Tim. And folks, if you have found the feed, congratulations. You are really soaking in the sight. And if you haven't, that's tragic to hear. I must remind you, find the feed. But all of that aside, Tim, we need to let the listeners in, and some of you, I know, your viewers. We need to let them in on what's got us so excited. And in your case, aroused. And not just a little, apparently. And I'm even going to let that go. I've said routinely in the walls of this studio, no arousal. You started saying arousal. No arousal. And that's okay. It's ICP-mas. I'm going to let it go. Tim, what album have we been listening to for an entire week straight?
We have been listening to the 16th studio album and most recent studio album by Why I Hate This Album All-Stars, Insane Clown Posse, a.k.a. Joe Brew, a.k.a. also Joe Utz, Yum Yum Bedlam, released October 31st, 2021, less than 2 months ago. And Garrett, I have some good news for you. You know how I'm always spending $8,000 plus on face paint, using the show's money for these things?
Sure, yes.
This week, I'm bringing in some money, Garrett. I got us a corporate sponsorship. This week, we are sponsored by Faygo Beverage Corporation. So we need to be extra careful not to say anything negative about them. They've given me a couple of taglines that we can use. That's Faygo, the official sody pop of hatred. That's Faygo, also an industrial adhesive. That's another. That's Faygo, now doubling as an FDB-approved diagnostic test to determine if you are prone to severe adult acne.
FDB, Federal...
I think it's an FDA analog that we're allowed to say.
Okay, I honestly think we are deeply in legal jeopardy with the things you have chosen to say. It's odd you omitted that. Continue.
Interesting. That's Faygo, Bon Appetit Magazine's 2009 best-tasting American root beer, due to it being, quote, dry and crisp, with a frothy head, a good bite, and a long finish.
That last one is incongruous with the others.
I don't know. Let's say you're drinking some soda pop, and then the heel is coming off
cracking the drywall.
Yeah, cracking the drywall. The sole's coming off of your shoe. You just stick a little bit of that soda pop in there, slap it back on, and everything's all good. You can go back to drinking your Faygo.
Pop it in the microwave for 15 to 18 seconds, let it cure, and you're good to go.
Garrett, do not put Faygo in the microwave. It is mostly metal.
For legal purposes, Faygo is in no way metal. These have all been jokes, and they are strictly the opinion of Timothy P. Richardson, who is not a real human.
Can't sue the fake.
That's right. All right, Tim. Excellent, excellent stuff. As is customary here on the show. Well, before I even ask it, we're both just beaming. If you have found the feed, you must be enjoying the joy that is on our faces. And it's a little harder to see Tim's because you do look like a monochromatic demonic clown.
Yes, and also I blend in quite well to the background.
Yeah, that has been curious this week. You have launched several operations to scare and attack me, and they have been mostly successful. Anyway.
Yes, thank you for calling me Kato, by the way.
No worries. Deep cuts. Pink Panther. Tim, I've got to ask it. Before we get sidetracked, again, we're so excited. Do you hate ICP's Yum Yum Bedlam?
Garrett, I don't. I think this might somehow simultaneously be the best and the worst ICP album they have ever made. It's definitely the weirdest ICP album we've ever discussed on this show. Also the most normal at points. But I just, at least at this moment, this is the only ICP album we have listened to that I can say currently I don't hate. That might change. I don't know. This one honestly could go either way. What about you, friend? Do you hate ICP's Yum Yum Bedlam?
I don't want to create controversy. That's not why I'm here.
That's why we hired you, Garrett.
Do seem to recall it being the other way around. Anyway, Tim, I can confidently say I do not hate this album.
Ooh, all right. We are fans of ICP now.
I don't want to get ahead of myself. You know what? I'm not even going to say anymore.
Garrett,
that's all we need to say. What's up?
I'm pledging Juggalo. I'm doing it.
Easy. Tim, do not make a rash decision. You have pledged things in the past that you've regretted, things I've regretted, things I currently regret.
That's true. When the Bloods found out I was also a Crip, they were not pleased.
No, they take it very seriously, and I warned you as such, and you just said it was NBD, which again, I gotta say, stop abbreviating sentences. All right, Tim, you don't hate it. I don't hate it. So I'm curious. Prior to this week, before you prepared, put on the traditional ICP stockings and the face makeup, had you ever heard Yum Yum Bedlam before?
Nope. Never heard any of these songs prior to this magical week. What about you, friend?
Right there with you, pal. Only ever seen the cover. That's where it starts and stops. Came in fresh, couple 1-2 Yum Yum virgins.
Yeah, I think Latin
sounds wrong.
No, we're Yum Yum virgins.
Folks, strap in.
We've been called Yum Yum boys. We've been called Yum Yum virgins.
I want to be real clear. The only reason we were called Yum Yum boys was that you introduced us to strangers as the Yum Yum boys.
I think the Thai people really enjoyed that.
They giggled a lot.
Yeah.
The men looked at us with derisive disgust.
You can't be having a bad time if you're giggling. Tickling taught me that.
We have worked diligently to sidestep the topic of tickling on this show. I really would like to continue that trend.
Fair enough.
Can we move on?
Yep.
Good. You have no history. I have no history. This is typically the part of the show, Tim, where you tell us a little bit about the band, how ICP came to be. But, I'm curious. You've done this a couple of times now, as is the tradition here on the show. And folks, if you're new to the show, welcome. If you're a little confused, every Christmas, Tim and I listen to an ICP album, start to finish, end to end, over and over for a week straight. In recent years, we then talk about it here on this podcast. We have a whole holiday worked in around it. It's loosely based on tradition of Christmas, but with our own special Juggalo editions. Anyway, Tim, you've read the history, the tale of the Juggalos a few times here. I'm curious how you're going to spice it up this year to keep it fresh, interesting, and new. So take us on a journey, help us understand who are Insane Clown Posse, and how did this Yum Yum Bedlam come to be?
I'm going to do something a little different this week, actually, Garrett. I have done a fair amount of research. I went back into the archives. I've been digging through a number.
archives.
Well, yeah. The National Archives, Garrett. I've been going through old photographs of the Old West, of the Great Depression. I've been tracing these clowns through time because, Garrett, we've always thought that these clowns originated in Detroit in the 80s. They didn't.
Sure.
They've been around much longer than that, Garrett. I'm going to tell you the story of these clowns through 3 epic tales linked through the ages. In Christmas terms, think of this as the ghost of Clownmas past, the ghost of Clownmas really past, and the ghost of Clownmas future in about 2 years when the diesel wars have scorched the sky and left us all in Mad Max times.
Can I just hit the pause button real quick and say, what in the absolute fuck are you talking about? Did you write your own history?
No, Garrett. I watched a series of documentaries about these boys from which I gathered some history, and then I backed that up. I looked through the archives. I went to San Francisco. I went to New York City. I went to the not the Old West, the current West, but I did research on the Old West, and then I did some research on the future. Anyway, Garrett, the story begins in cowboy country. Mid-1880s, the range. Cattle everywhere. Bright blue sky. Big sky. It's big sky country, Garrett, in addition to being cowboy country.
That's why they call it that.
Yeah.
On account of that big sky.
So back in the 1880s, Joe Utz, a.k.a. Shaggy Too Dope, was going by the name Sheriff Sugar Wolf.
Of course.
And he'd been gone from his hometown for a while. His hometown, of course, was Mudbug. And he returned to his hometown again in the 1880s, only to find out that it has been taken over by the scoundrel Joe Brew, a.k.a. Violent J, a.k.a. the Chubby One, a.k.a. Big Baby Chips. Now, in a story that...
Big Baby Chips!
Big Baby Chips.
Fantastic!
In a story that would go on to inspire the film The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Joe Brew, who is at this point in time a gambling tycoon, had killed all of Joe Utz's family. He killed his father, Grizzly Wolf, who looked a lot like Ron Jeremy. He killed his brothers, and he had gained control of the town of Mudbug for, I think, gambling reasons. It was kind of unclear in both the research and the documentary that I watched.
Just the general control.
Right. So, not to be deterred and possibly seeking revenge, Joe Utz took on the role of sheriff. And so Joe Brew, aka Big Baby Chips, sent a series of assassins to kill him. But
Assassins.
But
Old West assassins.
But Garrett, Joe Utz defeated all these assassins pretty handily.
Right.
The town
With
folk,
a 6-shooter?
Yeah. The town folk gathered behind him because, he's their sheriff, and he was rewarded with a lady, as is cowboy custom. Now, this lady was a dwarf named Tink. Okay.
What?
Yes, this is history. He also took on a deputy named Bucky Jason Muse to help out with the law enforcement now that he's the official sheriff and whatnot, as you would. Anywho, it turns out that his lady, Tink, the little person, the dwarf, I'm not sure exactly, either way, was also a deadly assassin, and it turns out it was a bearded man in disguise. And he was working for Big Baby Chips, aka Joe Brew, and injures Joe Utz, but ultimately Joe Utz, he was successful. He kills Big Baby Chips, who may or may not have been his Ron Jeremy looking father the whole time. It's it's very unclear. The documentary was unclear, it was poorly acted.
So it seems like Violent J and Shaggy Too Dope are the antagonist and protagonist, but at the very end, there might have been a switcheroo, and soon-to-be felonious pornography star Ron Jeremy might have been behind it the whole time.
Yes. Well, of course, obviously he wasn't killed because he exists to current day.
Right, of course.
Smash cut. It's New York City, 1970s. We're in Martin Scorsese times now. An immortal Joe Utz, a.k.a. Shaggy Too Dope, is now living as Sugar Bear, a detective from San Francisco who has been brought in to defeat crime lord Joe Brew, now going
what fucking movie is this?
Now going by Big Baby Sweets, and he's also been brought in to defeat or to help.
Wait, hold on, wait.
Go on.
Is his character's name actually Big Baby Sweets? Was it ever Big Baby Chips?
Yes, they're not characters, Garrett. These are his aliases.
Yeah, I know, but also,
anyway.
I mean, if anybody's confused, Tim is often befuddled by the difference between documentaries and feature films.
Yes.
If you can understand that, the rest of this should make
Garrett,
mostly sense.
I can guarantee you something. This is not a feature film.
That's true.
Anyway.
Go ahead.
So he's brought in to defeat Big Baby Sweets, a.k.a. Joe Brew, his personal security ninja, and his henchmen, Lil Poot and Big Stank. Okay.
I don't believe anything you say anymore.
Now, once in New York City, Joe Utz begins a romance with an obese stripper and arrests most of the gang pretty much immediately. But unfortunately, they were able to go free for lack of evidence, and they retaliated by basically just terrorizing the city and having ninjas murder the obese stripper.
More ninjas, eh?
Yes. Then in sort of a Jedi-like move, Dolomite appears and trains Joe Utz. And again, this was all, it was a reenactment, essentially. They didn't actually have
Let's not dwell on it.
Right.
It's all nonsense.
Joe Utz gets his revenge, although Joe Brew is shot by his own mother. But when his face paint is removed, oh, by the way, they're wearing face paint this whole time. Cowboy ties.
I mean, that's how I was picturing it.
Okay, good. When Joe Brew is actually killed by his own mother and his face paint is removed, turns out he is one of the previous cops that brought Joe Utz in, Harlan Williams. I think that's how he's able to survive. At the last minute, he painted Harlan Williams to look like Joe Brew and just escaped.
I see. Classic switcheroo.
Yes. And so you have to understand, they're both in face paint this entire time, so they don't really know what the other one looks like throughout history. So it's kind of like that Wolverine movie where him and Sabretooth fought throughout the Civil War and all this other nonsense. So they just keep running into each other in the past.
Well, and they immediately recognize each other because they're wearing
Well, they are the only two wearing face paint, but they can't be sure that it's the same guy under there because their faces are covered up in face paint. Anyway, Star Wipe 2033. Picture a war-torn wasteland. The Insane Clown Posse band has come and gone. It maintains a large fan base, although the music of ICP has been banned after it influenced many murders, terrorism, school shootings, etc. And Joe Brew and Joe Utz, now going by their current names, have been arrested for these murders as sort of like the Charles Manson figures behind it, inspiring these murders. In 2030, a civil war broke out in the United States, followed by martial law imposed by the U.S. president, I don't remember what his name is, and a prison camp has been built holding about 1 million insane violent felons, now including Joe Brew and Joe Utz. But good news, the rest of the U.S. is safe.
Are they all wearing face paint, you think?
What do you mean?
Everybody in the camp?
Oh, no, it's still just them.
Oh, okay.
The Reaper, Garrett, a future criminal, is planning on spilling sarin into the water supply, but is filmed by a prisoner on a very specific Wi-Fi camera that they went into great detail describing before he can accomplish this goal. Governor Reagan Black then decides to hold a death race in the prison camp to be televised live and to give points for killing any loose prisoners. Ultimately, the goal is freedom for anyone that brings the Reaper in, dead or alive, although ideally dead because that guy is wily.
So sort of a Wacky Races meets The Most Dangerous Game?
I think it's Death Race 2000.
Oh,
I think
yeah, nailed it.
Yeah, and again, I'm not sure which, it's hard to say Death Race 2000 was based on this event because this event is not happening for another 12 years.
Yeah, this is all future research.
Yes. But also, Governor Black has, of course, a couple of his men in this death race to ensure success. Oh, and also he's implanted some bombs in everyone's necks. That'll come up later. Anyway, obviously,
seems important.
This is all a setup, and there's a series of ambushes and missile attacks and random flat tires. But ultimately, Joe Brew and Joe Utz arrive at the Reaper's lair. They prevent the release of the sarin. Some of the governor's men who were in the death race arrive, and they blow up the room with a rocket launcher, knocking off someone's head. They believe it to be the severed head of the Reaper, so they leave with the severed head in the truck that Joe Brew and Joe Utz arrived in when they were participating in the death race. The Reaper, though, is not dead and attempts to release the sarin one last time. They're stopped by Joe Brew, but then Governor Black activates the explosives in both Joe Brew and Joe Utz's neck, blowing our heroes up. This is how they die, by the way. This is how the Insane Clown Posse dies. But it also blows up the sarin, which causes a chain reaction, destroying the entire country. That's how America ends. Yeah, so, I mean, that's just a little bit of history and future history of the makers of this album. We have another approximately 9 years of their music, then 3 years of Mad Max time, and then the sweet, sweet death for all of us when we can finally be at peace thanks to the Reaper.
The Reaper. That is a terrible name. Wow, Tim, I was not expecting that giant pile of nonsense.
It's not nonsense, Garrett.
Right.
This is past and future history. This is the parts
from the archives.
In some documentaries, yes. The point is, for the last 3 years, we've given you the history from the 80s to the present day. So this time I went back and I gave you the history from the 1880s to the 70s-ish, and then also in the future. So I
Filling
did
in those gaps.
Yep.
Tim, excellent history. I only fell asleep twice.
That's
That
improving.
brings us to general thoughts. Boy, I've got a lot of them. How to organize this. Let's start with logistics. I'm not even going to talk about what it sounds like. Let me just bring up 17 tracks, roughly, 300 minutes. Tough to say.
It's
I lose
at
all track of
least
time. 300
minutes, yes.
Yeah, but so just in sheer volume, density of words, Tim, there's so many lyrics.
Oh yeah, it's
And you know what was, but okay, so for all that time and all those songs, 17 songs, people, you know what it's short on? Something that we've come to expect when there's 17 tracks on an ICP album, something that makes it a little easier to not necessarily have to listen to 2 to 4 of them over and over and over again. Skits. There's almost no, there's no individual skits.
Yes, there are skits-ish in songs. The intro, I would argue, is skit-like. It seems like
Sure.
we'll get there, but it's skit-adjacent. But yeah, this is more...
They bake them in.
Yeah, but this is more music. I think it's like musically, structurally, vocally, lyrically, pretty much everything. This album is much more conventional, I think, than usual. It seems like they were trying in parts to make a music album, like from a band, you know? And like parts of it sound like it could come from an actual rapist in the mid-90s. Some of the chore, some of the chore
Nailed it. Yep.
sound like they could be from like Coolio songs in like the early 90s. It has this weird throwback feel to a lot of it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. These clowns, these are evil clowns, right? We've had 15 albums of evil clowns.
Oh, yeah.
They don't seem to be that evil this time. They seem to be gross, certainly.
Sure.
They seem to be profane, but are they evil still?
No. This time around, Tim, the evil's gone. And I want to say they're reflective. They are wistful.
Yeah. They're sweet boys on some of these songs.
Tim, these are not the mayhem-inducing clowns from the Dark Carnival we've come to know and love on our ICP-mas.
It's ICP-mas. Stop saying ICP-mas.
I don't think that's right.
Well, it's written throughout my
check
notes.
Yeah, you say
penis,
I say penis. All right.
Yes.
Continuing on. Very short on skits. 17 tracks. These boys are reflecting on their lives. Some of this, I don't want to get it. It's hard. Tim and I are dancing around the details because there's some really fun, unique stuff in this album. And you alluded to some of it, Tim, with the much more musical, much more band-like approach to making an album. It's more cohesive and, dare I say, better in every measurable way.
Sure, except for in the evil way.
Oh, yeah. There's a little evil, but it's mostly about avoiding evil. For 17 tracks, I would say 1 out of every 3 has light hints of evil that they mostly kind of abandon.
Yeah, it seems like a bunch of middle-aged men who are telling stories about them drinking heavily in college, and you get that like, or like a country song, right? Where you have that, this is how I used to be before I found Jesus, but like, it's still cool to revel in like, that time I got super drunk and maybe committed a sexual assault.
Oh boy.
Country music, not me.
Right. Yeah. To be clear.
Right. Because I believe we talked about me drinking heavily on the
you know what? I'm glad we
yes.
stopped for a moment to just clarify.
Yes. Okay. But this seems like it seems like this wistful remembering of a time when they were evil.
Yes. And they don't regret what they were or what they did, but they're happy for the time they have left.
Right, yeah. Now that they've had children, they've come to understand exactly what's important in life, and it's not being evil, but they're happy that they had that time to be evil for a while.
Yeah, maybe they have like some evil stuff, like I have an evil cell phone case.
Or maybe they've got like a room in the basement where they, it's their man cave of evil. And they go down there and sometimes they do some evil stuff down there, but for the most of the time, they're cutting carrots upstairs, they're wearing an apron, they're helping with dinner.
Checking blood sugar, I'm guessing.
Oh, definitely. But yeah, so Jesus Christ. Yeah, they might, what might have happened is like one of them lost a foot and it really woke them both up.
Something woke them both up, and we're going to get into it.
Yes.
Way more singing on this album, right?
Yes, and we've encountered ICP trying to sing in the past, and it's been embarrassingly bad in the past. Here, it's still not good, but it's much better. It's
like serviceable, and at times it's well filtered.
Yeah, well, they do a lot of that.
They sweeten it up a touch, and then occasionally they're joined by strange people that should not be on this album,
and some
I think are like so. God damn it, I'm so excited to get there, and it's not for a while. Anyway, way less mayhem, way less carnivals, a lot of attention to... I saw a lot of flair that you see in modern rap integrated into these songs. Like some of it's got a trap beat with the repetition. We're shouting out producers left, right, and center.
Let's not mention that ever in these songs, but a lot of them have producer tags at the beginning, and it's stupid.
Even stupider is that for many of them, it's what's his face?
Shaggy?
The name of, it's not Shaggy though.
Shaggy the Airhead on the beat.
Thank you. Yeah, so for, I don't know, almost every song, they shout out the producer, and mostly of which is Shaggy the Airhead. So we get a very similar, you're listening to a Bobby Johnson beat from our good buddy, what was that, Lil Xan maybe? But instead it's Shaggy the Airhead on the beat over and over again. So we won't mention it again.
There's also a lot of children singing. I mean, granted, it is Violent J, but there's a lot of Violent J turned into a child singing on this.
Yeah, they geck it up. Yeah. They do some pitch shifting and make them occasionally sound spooky.
There is some spooky stuff here. This is purportedly about another one of these characters in the Dark Carnival, right? So this is attempting to be thematically consistent. It's introducing a new character. And it's also accidentally actually thematically consistent in that they have what they claim is a concept album about a particular character, and only 2 out of 17 songs even mention it, and only one of those songs sticks with it. They immediately drop the concept as soon as they run out of things to say about it, which is immediately, just like those amazing Jekyll Brothers or Dr. Bang Pow Boom.
Mm-hmm. Now, Tim, allow me to pose a potentially alternative theory that there is, in fact, a main character introduced in this album who is consistent across all songs, whether the Yum Yum is mentioned or not. And that character's name is Late Middle Age.
That's fair.
Because that sinister beast rears his ugly head, haunting our young friends, Violent J and Shaggy the Two Dope. And he is stalking them. And we get to hear all about it.
Yes.
In almost every song.
Absolutely. Let's talk about what the album is supposed to be about, though. Because
we can hit it up top.
To the CD liner notes, because we could only buy this on CD as of now, the Yum Yum flower feeds on the corrupt desires of man during their lives, causing the souls of those who become lost in their addictions to wither, wilt, and die. Upon death, those who have succumbed to their dark desires throughout life will be greeted by the flower in the form of a beautiful, irresistible goddess, whose head splits open to bite into them and feed on their souls after they approach her. So it's sort of a Venus flytrap / siren thing.
I pictured more of a siren / demogorgon situation.
Sure. The only reason I say Venus flytrap is because I've seen the cover. So I had to fold that into it to some degree. And they also have the Yum Yum flower, or don't touch that.
Hey, you know what?
Yep.
You're right.
We will get there. Here's my concern, though, because, we listened to this album a lot. That was probably the number one thing that you and I did this week. The number two thing, though, was we read our Bible, and, the show Bible. And you know how the Bible is basically slapped together and self-contradictory and convoluted to the point of meaninglessness, but still obviously holds the key to salvation within it. And there's a bunch of mythical characters that are loosely interrelated but probably have nothing to do with each other and shouldn't be in the same story.
Yes.
Here's what I'm worried about, Garrett. That's a good description of these. Like, if you look at their body of work, these guys and their dumb Hell Pit and Shangri-La and bullshit half-assed backstory and lore make me concerned. Garrett, instead of a violence gang, I am worried that juggalos in our time will become a cult, and a few thousand years from now, juggaloism will be the dominant religion on this planet.
They'll be getting tax breaks.
They might already be getting tax breaks. If you get off that...
Violent J.
It's possible. We're that stupid.
Oh, I am routinely reminded every single day that I have yet to see the true rock bottom of humanity, but we will get there, as the show likes to say. What else do we need to say about the general theme of the album before we get into these songs? We are both just champing at the bit here.
I mean, the only other thing I should say is that in a number of these songs, there is a very big disconnect between the verses and the chorus, chori.
You're right. And there's a very particular reason.
Yes, but a lot of the verses are not what you'd expect on an ICP album, but ICP adjacent. And a lot of the chori in the same song, like Boys to Men adjacent. And it's
Boys to Men, Beck-like at times, Reba McEntire. It's really weird.
Yeah, there's some inspirational stuff on this album. You could design a motivational course to sell to idiots based on using only phrases found on this album. You'd have to cut a lot of stuff out because there's a lot of Nedden and other stuff, but you could design it.
I love it. Let's do it. Tim, I mean, you're going to be the origin, the thing you fear, you're talking about making. Don't start the church of Yum Yum.
Garrett,
what?
I'm okay with it if we do it. What if this is what gets you to, what if you ride a wave of juggalos into their nation's highest office, which is at that point Lacostier?
Alrighty, Timmy. I think we've hit it from just about every angle. Anything else you want to get out in these general thoughts before we dive into the madness that is Yum Yum Bedlam?
Oh no, let's do these songs.
Alrighty, track number 1, the aptly titled Intro.
As you mentioned, less of a skit than usual, but this is still kind of a skit, I think.
It's the skittiest skit we get on the entire album that's at least self-contained.
Yes.
But they ease us in nicely.
Yeah, it starts off with there's some stream noises, there's some birds chirping, some bugs a-buzzing, and then we get the Inception trailer noise, but it's saying Yum Yum Bedlam.
Yum. Yum.
Yes. And then there's some poor lady. Is it a lady or is it one of them that's been pitch shifted?
No, it's a lady.
Okay. Well, you never know, man. So there's this poor lady who's been coerced into saying, "Oh my God, yes, it's you. I'm so glad you're here. My heart aches for you. Please let me be yours. Take me. I beg you to take me now. I'll love you faithfully, forever, in time. Now. Touch me. Take me. Feel me. Now. Have me right now." And she's saying this.
My hand.
I'm not until you respond in kind.
That was some of the most focused and unbroken eye contact we have had on the show all year long, and I vote no.
Well, here's the thing. It's easy to maintain eye contact. If you look in my direction, all you can see is 2 eyes, because those are the only non-painted things on me.
Yeah, I have to stay focused on it. Otherwise, I lose you into the background, and then I get distracted.
Yes. Right. This is some sort of clown, siren, Venus flytrap. What did you say?
Succubus meets Demogorgon?
Yes. She pretends to be into some clowns and then consumes them for their high Faygo content and essential oils.
Oh, sure. And it's exactly what you'd expect. They intro you to believe, based on the cover of this album, and I don't know if we even mentioned the cover, it's got the title character, Miss Yum Yum Bedlam, on the cover. She's a bit of a potted plant, looks a lot like Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is the tale of that creature that's going to consume you. And as Tim read in the general thoughts, they lure you in, particularly if you are a man of sin, a theme we've seen repeatedly on the Dark Carnival series, the decks, if you will. And let's not even get into that bullshit. But this is a theme. If you do wrong, the Dark Carnival will attract you and you will pay with your life or limb. You're going to bleed.
Yeah.
And she says, Tim, you did an excellent reading. Allow me to attempt to match the seductive and gleeful tone you took. But
thank you.
The song continues. Another fool whose soul my acids will slowly digest. Your agony is my delight, as every lick of faith you had in me is so yummy.
Can I just say this, both to the song and to your performance?
Sure.
Hot.
I was hoping for a gross. So a spooky start, not too off-putting. I'm borderline impressed. The production's good, eased me into it, and it's pretty short.
Yes, but here's the real problem that we can already see with this. The story of Yum Yum Bedlam has come full circle already, and we're 2 minutes into this fucking album.
Yeah, now you and I couldn't know that going in, but of course, as experts, no longer Yum Yum virgins, a couple 1-2 Yum Yum boys, as Tim's pointed out repeatedly. You're right. Pretty much the beginning, middle, and end story of the Yum Yum creature has been told. You get it. Folks, if you're short on time this week, enjoy. You're done. 5 stars. hatePodMail@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. How much did you enjoy it? But for the rest of you who are not short on time, that's good, because we have 16 more tracks and a whole lot to talk about. So,
track number 2, here comes the Carnival.
And they rot in a stack, stripped of the soul they will never get back. Human cannibal.
so much more musical and pop-oriented than anything I have heard them do in quite some time.
Possibly ever. Here's the weird thing, though. This is the same structure that every single one of their other albums we've listened to has done. They have the intro that sort of introduces the concept, and then they have a track 2.
It's setting the stage of the carnival.
Right.
It's in case you forgot about the Dark Carnival, let us do our standard track 2 where we just tell you all about it again.
Yeah, so but this is an intro immediately following a different intro, right? This one,
well, the first one is, hey, we titled it Yum Yum Bedlam. Let's get that out of the way. That's what that is. Audrey 2, seen Little Shop of Horrors? Great. You're done. Now, if you haven't listened to the previous 15 albums, see, we've got these decks, right? And the decks are composed of various cards or albums, each representing a different character of the Dark Carnival. Nobody has time for that. So you get the previously on Lost of Insane Clown Posse.
Absolutely. Yeah, so there's a carnival that's a little bit eerie, like most carnivals.
Sure. Well, we get the Carnival Barker intro, which is standard of an ICP album. So far, Tim, we've said a very different album, but we're following the template so far. He says, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, your lucky town is the next stop for the world-famous Dark Carnival. Come ride the tilt-a-whirl, the merry-go-round, the terror wheel, explore the fun house or the tunnel of love.
Yeah. Murder, sex, carnivals, clowns, unsavory characters.
I mean, let's go to this carnival.
Yeah, all right. So everyone's invited to the carnival. Everything is free. They only charge your soul. Are you brave enough to ride the demon drop? Turn your ass into a splatter bleeding slop. Joker laughing as he juggles severed heads. All the carnies, cannibals, and never fed. Fat man up, the long ladder gets shoved. Fans love the splatter on them. All spits blood. You know, it's a carnival that's a little bit grosser than a normal carnival.
Yeah, sure. Well, as far as sanitary purposes, I would say it is no dirtier than a standard carnival. But what was unclear to me is in previous albums, sinners are lured to the carnival. In this one, it kind of seemed like it was a mix of the innocent and the sinner. Like the sinner gets murdered and the innocent have to watch.
It's possible that they want everyone to go in there and the carnival weeds the wheat from the chaff.
Sure. And you get to live, but you have to witness the lessons learned of the Dark Carnival,
I feel
perhaps.
like this is just gonna cause a vicious cycle, because once you leave the carnival, if you came in innocent and you saw somebody juggling severed heads, you might go back out into the world a changed man.
I would imagine so, but maybe if you at least understood the analogy, which is poorly outlined both in the song and I'm guessing the reality of the song, but if you understood that these people had done wrong in their life, that's going to put you on the straight and narrow. Talk about scared straight. We're cutting heads off.
Fair enough.
The song continues, monkey on the shoulder, blind man yells tickets, free for the abusive and free for the bigots. A life pass for your soul? What a steal. Just put your hand on the book and say deal. Reminding us that, in fact, this is mostly for sinners, right? And I do mean sinners, Tim, because long-standing theory of the show brought to us by Tim himself, theologian and scholar of the Christ. ICP may be secret Christians.
Oh, I think they definitely are. They're at least trying to get the word out that the afterlife is real and it consists of a heaven or Shangri-La and some sort of filth carnival.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Let's talk about the chorus.
So yes, this is sung by Courtney DeSmet, who I looked her up because I was curious. Did you look her up, Garrett?
I didn't.
Okay, I think it's an Oak Park, Michigan realtor.
She did a great job.
Yeah.
Well, that is, listeners, don't write in case it's not. I don't want you to harass this woman. I don't really care.
Definitely
doesn't
don't
really
do that.
matter. Yeah, but it's full on sung. Like we've been rapping, happen, and then all of a sudden it's, here comes the carnival. It's, unexpected.
Yeah, now she does rhyme carnival with carnival, which I don't care for.
That's true.
And they
Join
do
hands with the dead and come. Bloodshed bedlam. Yum, yum, yum.
Yes, they are rapping in the background while she sings.
Well, sure, of course. Can't stop that. But it's striking. It's well produced. She's very good at singing if she is, in fact, a realtor. I am nervous that I'm starting to get it.
Yeah, you might become a juggalo.
God damn. The leader of the juggalos, apparently. But
Yeah, I'm going to paint your face while you sleep tonight.
that is a gamble.
All right.
I wouldn't do it.
I've developed some sort of Homer Simpson makeup gun.
That's a better approach, I'll tell you that. For sure. If you're lucky, it'll kill me. Otherwise, run. Anyway, song continues. Bodies everywhere, and they gotta rot in a stack. Stripped of a soul they won't ever get back. Human cannonball launched into a wall. Show's over, thank you. Merch up at the front, y'all. Couple things. One, it does seem like people are, in fact, just being murdered. So I think there's some folks that are there, this is their final stop. Other folks that are just like, oh, hey, Carnival, I want to ride the zipper. Oh, my God. But then, Tim, stripped of a soul they won't ever get back. This is something I didn't remember from previous episodes. So soul-centric. I guess that's, they burn in hell with Bang Pow and or Boom. Probably, right?
Yeah, well, I
don't
think
know.
Bang Pow Boom eats their souls if they've been, I don't know, child
Bad.
molesters.
Sure. Yes, I mean, it sounds crazy, but I think that's actually canon. But the part that really stood out to me is the last line. Show's over. Thank you. Merch up in the front, y'all. Even a dark carnival of carnage and terror still has like shitty merch. So you can get like, I don't know, what do they got? Like a mustache comb or one of those airbrush shirts.
How about like a plush severed head?
Oh, so you can remember your time specifically at the Dark Carnival. I don't know. I think the unique part is the dark part, you know, the murders, but then the rest of it's very carnival-centric. So it's like off-brand SpongeBob's. And,
That's fair.
And the like, have you ever gotten a carnival prize from the, what is it called? The outlet, not the alleyway. The
Oh, yeah,
what's it
yeah,
called?
yeah. The
Midway.
Yeah, Midway, yep. Sure. Garrett, I have excellent aim.
I've never seen it. I got my first Zippo at a carnival.
Oh, nice.
Who wouldn't give a 9-year-old a lighter? God, do you have enough tickets? Sure do.
May I ask you this,
Here you
Garrett?
go. Sure.
Was it a dark carnival? Is it possible that...
Aren't they all?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But is it possible that your parents accidentally took you to a dark carnival? But here's the problem. It couldn't have been one of these juggalo carnivals because even at 9, I assume your soul was tainted. So you probably wouldn't have come back.
Well, here's the thing. My parents didn't take me.
Oh.
They did not know where I was.
So you wandered into a mysterious carnival.
I love
Garrett,
roller coasters.
I've got bad news for you. You went to a dark carnival.
That's okay. I wasn't maimed or killed.
That's true, but it could go a long way to explaining why you are the way you are. Now,
Maybe.
the interesting thing, because you mentioned the merch, they actually reference this again. Verse 3, Violent J says, elephants, midgets, and them souvenir scams. Sweet, sticky cotton candy goop is on your hands. And then he goes to lions eating their trainers in front of a presumably screaming crowd.
Right. So it's a normal carnival in a lot of ways. There's just rampant murder for sinners.
Maybe it's just a normal carnival. And
It's really poorly managed.
exactly, yes, their safety standards are down. Maybe
Even for a carnival.
yeah, maybe okay, let's say this. So it's a completely normal carnival, but
Okay.
somebody, instead of giving out meth, the meth was tainted with PCP. Like it's mostly PCP.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, okay.
And this is just what happens
let's get
that
real.
day.
I mean, let's get honest, Tim. We've been dancing around it long enough. You and I have been trying to figure out which one of us is going to break this dam. Most carnivals are on the brink of mass murder at any moment.
Yeah, most carnivals are on the brink of deciding who gets to go to Shangri-La and whose soul is eaten by some sort of monster.
Yeah, let's just say at any given moment, 40 to 60% of all carnival attendees' lives are in jeopardy.
Yes.
The entire visit.
Yeah.
And that's statistically consistent whether that visit is 5 minutes or 50 minutes, which is, as I understand it, very unusual. not a math guy, but a bell curve is just more of a plateau. It's just a dangerous place. So to hear that it, they got the cotton candy, you got yourself a funnel cake, maybe you get the world's tiniest horse. But in this other room where they're supposed to be taming lions, well, maybe you got yourself a little Joe Raspberry or whatever his name was, Lion King. Well, not Lion King, Tiger King situation. He's mistreating these animals, feeding them expired bacon.
They're mistreating the animals.
It's a carnival. Yeah. Come for God's sake. So yeah, to expect a couple of lion tamers to get maimed and maybe another guy's going through a tricky divorce or being pursued by the federal government for things, and he accidentally kills a couple of participants.
Yeah, maybe they accidentally pointed the human cannonball thing directly at a wall. It happens.
Oh God. Sure. There's bound to be a wall somewhere. They're everywhere.
Yeah, that is something I've noticed. Here's the thing, though. Not a lot of walls at carnivals, specifically. They're mostly tent flaps.
That's true. Very open spaces, and what structures you do see are easily destroyed, especially with a human projectile.
Yes, even by a 9-year-old boy with a Zippo. I've heard this story before. Garrett burned that carnival to the ground. Killed 68 people. Oh my God, Garrett, you made the carnival dark. Holy shit.
I was raised in the shadows.
Garrett, can I tell you how proud of this song the Insane Clowns are?
I'm pretty proud of it too, but what do you mean?
Violent J said, on the new album, on Yum Yum Bedlam, man, there's a fucking, I think, the freshest anthem we've ever done. It's Here Comes the Carnival. It's the freshest anthem we've ever done. And as far as sounding old school, this song takes you right back to old school. And we didn't mean it. We didn't intend it. It just happened that way. It's so great. This song, Here Comes the Carnival, is a fucking anthem at its best, man. This could have been on Ringmaster. This song, man, I'm telling you.
They don't come off as the smartest boys when you write down verbatim. But I will say it is pretty fresh. I wouldn't necessarily say it slaps, but it is anthemic. This could have been with a slightly different inflection. I don't know, some sort of Young the Giant song or possibly that terrible ironic band Fun. They all love singing together.
They're Lena Dunham fuckers. Well, one of them is.
Excuse me? One of them's fucking Lena Dunham?
Was. Then he produced a bunch of stuff by Taylor Swift.
I wonder if the two things are related.
I don't know. We'll have to ask him when he guests on the show next week. Jack Antonoff coming on the show.
I really wish you hadn't told me the thing about Lena Dunham.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to be able to make eye contact with him.
No, I don't think you're going to be able to ask him anything else. Track number 3, Wretched.
The church I left is smoky blazed and charred. I'm wretched.
Slightly different sound for Mr. Violent J on here. It's kind of a trap sound with a southern accent.
Yeah, I guess.
He's got the repetition.
Yes. It goes...
I'm wretched.
Yeah. A beast not meant for eyes to see.
I'm wretched.
Born 666 AD.
I'm wretched.
The church I left it smoky, blazed, and charred.
Hey, Tim. Yeah. I'm wretched.
All them folks cremated. Disregard.
Fucked me.
Blood-soaked and nude outside, I dance and scream.
You made it gross.
Yeah.
Okay, this sounds like the Michael Myers rap song, a.k.a. Pennywise the Clown meets Dougie Fresh. A beast not meant for eyes to see, born 666 A.D., the church I left it smoky, blazed, and charged. Tim, this is a demon.
Well, sort of. Maybe. It might also just be like, a disgruntled church employee.
Blood-soaked and nude, outside I dance and scream.
Yeah, I've been there, man.
That is one disgruntled employee.
Yeah. Dead body floating down the bloody stream. Preacher cried, fell to his knees to pray. Each eyeball melted, leaking down his face. It seems almost like an Indiana Jones producer's view on what a Satanist might be. You know, the preacher sees the ritual and it literally makes his eyeballs melt out of his face.
Well, maybe you looked at that Jesus character. There's definitely parts of that Bible that make it seem like you're not supposed to look at him.
I think you're allowed to look at Jesus, but you're not allowed to look at the Father, or maybe the Holy Spirit. No, the Holy Spirit looks like a bird sometimes, so you're allowed to look at that. But sometimes
your religion's weird.
Garrett, you're a clownist. Or you're gonna be.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, we need to come up with a better name than that. I'll work on it. A Yum Yum. Ugh. Church of Yum Yum. House of Yum Yum. House of Yum Yum's not bad. The Yum Yum House.
No, let's leave Yum Yum out of it.
Yeah, it does kind of give it a bit of a sex connotation, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, you're gonna want that at some point.
Sure, but we don't want to tip it. You bury that lead.
Yes.
Pun intended.
I'm lonely, but I'm not alone. There's several voices in my dome, and several choices on my own, and severed children in my room, and only when the light is gone.
I gotta stop you. Wait a minute now. Okay, so I get it. He's hearing voices. Sure, he's sort of a demon, scary murder man covered in blood outside the church screaming as it burns. I get it. But then, severed children in my room is quite a leap. He's dismembering children, just to be clear.
I think this is about the hit M. Night Shyamalan Italiano film Split, in which, spoilers, Professor X has a beast and a horde inside of him, and he holds a bunch of kids hostage and maybe kills them.
Oh, okay. So it's a split situation. Rather than feeding on half-dressed women, it's more children-based in your version.
Yes.
I'm there for that.
And here's the
Split's
thing.
pretty good.
He might be, after he kills these children, he might be sucking out he might be a happiness sucker.
Okay, let's continue. I'm here to cease your shining bliss, deny you of your every wish. If I come close enough but miss, I'll suck you dry of happiness and snatch you out your magic mist to shower you in demon piss.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like M. Night Shyamalan. And
Well, here's the funny thing is you've got the verse earlier where he's talking about having severed children in his room. Very spooky. We are, hacking up kids.
Right.
Doesn't get much spookier. But then, if I can't do that, I'll deny you of your every wish. But if I come close and miss, I'll just make you real unhappy. I'll suck you dry of happiness.
I'm here to cease your shining bliss, deny you of your every wish. Every time I heard that, I thought of that fucking Beatles line from When I'm 64, I used to beat her and keep her away from the things that she loved. Weird, man. It's because it comes off of just so petty, right? Like it's just, oh hey, tell me your greatest hopes and dreams, and then you're gonna have a great life. I'm just specifically gonna keep you away from those like three things the things you want most. You can't have everything else is fine, but
it reminds me of a lifelong quest to basically do what I used to do to you, and then you started doing to other people. Do you remember in college where people would either come out holding a soda in a styrofoam cup or a bag of chips? Or ideally both.
I am furious. If my face wasn't painted white and black right now, I am beet red. I am so fucking angry.
How could you still be angry? It's been like 15 years.
Yeah, man. I wanted those chips.
Anyway, so as the game goes, ideally if somebody has chips in one hand and a big full fountain drink in the other, you just walk up to them for no reason and slap first one out of their hands, and while they're getting angry at what you just did, you slap the other.
Yeah, it's really hard to maintain the anger after you lose the second one, because at that point it's pretty much your fault.
Yep, entirely on you.
That's what causes the second wave of rage. It's the shame, Garrett. It's the fact that I'm not... What kind of man am I if I can't even protect my chips?
What's weird is almost no one can.
No one can.
It's because your reaction is just like, you son of a... Well, that's so much worse. Sean once slapped me in a Blockbuster, and I was so angry, I walked away. And when I came back up to him and go, what the fuck makes you... And that's all I got out when he slapped me again. and then I had to be done.
Yeah.
I was like, well, joke's on me.
Yeah. So here's the thing. If you ever assault someone, assault them twice in a row, and then they can't really get mad at you, I think is that what we're learning?
Yeah. If you're not smart enough to have a retort and I do it again, you kind of deserve it. Back to this weird song. After he steals your happiness and or cuts you up into tiny pieces and puts you in his closet, the song takes an odd turn because we get the first and not the last. Well, I'm not going to call it a sampling, Tim, but interpolation. We'll use that word. And I don't even know if that's a word. But the words are, say a prayer for me, 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 repeated 4 more times. Delivered a little bit more like, say a prayer for me. And I'm giving you the quieter version because I need to keep talking. But, I mean, Tim, I assume you know exactly what this is from.
Oh, yeah.
Plowed by Sponge.
Mm-hmm. Detroit band, I believe, right?
Yes, and I, to be honest, really liked this song when it came out, whenever the hell that was, 93? I don't know. Haven't heard it since. And not super sure what it's doing in this song.
Yeah, there's a lot of... their choices of what to steal from are very strange.
It's not even stealing. And I know this ain't stealing. feeling, because they definitely know each other.
Well, right, sure. Their choices of what to use from other people's work. I'm not saying they're doing it against that person's will, but my point is on their choices of what they think should be incorporated into their work.
It's absolutely baffling. And in some instances, Tim, I think it elevates the song to levels that I couldn't possibly...
ICP.
I don't know if I do.
You love Yum Yum Bedlam.
I'm just a regular Yum Yum boy looking for his Yum Yum toy, living that Yum Yum life out here. God damn it, what's happening?
You're a Yum Yum boy.
It's about family, Tim.
It is. This is like Fast and the Furious, one of Garrett and I's favorite movie series.
Family.
It purports to be about criminal activity, but really there's a strong moral message underneath, which is why I believe them to be secret Christians.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop indeed.
Yeah.
I've got massive agony to share. Screams of suffering I long to hear. I leave sunken bags under your eyes. I will tell and dispel hopeful lies. A mother's shriek when told her son has passed gets me higher than some nitrous gas. Demon souls infect my heart with hate. I wait my final fate, disintegrating in a burning lake. So again, he's describing himself as this, terrible monster person, but he then gets his in the end.
Yeah, no, I mean, I await my final fate, disintegrating in that's Michael Myers. Well, he didn't. I think the lake burned in one of them. I don't know. He's in that
hell.
Lake for sure. Well, yeah.
I think you're talking. Are you thinking Jason or Michael Myers?
Who's in the water? Oh, maybe I am thinking about Jason.
But I'm
thinking about Jason. You're right. Yeah. No, Jason. Thank you, Tim. Of course I'm thinking about Jason. Michael Myers, that's a whole different situation. Yeah. Jason, he's in the lake. Anyway. Then we get like a weirdly eloquent rap about being a murderer. He says, I breathe fear and feed off pain. I live to kill, murder, and maim. Red fire snakes slide through my veins. The Reaper's fist will crush your brains. In ways to kill is how I'm trained. Your life ends quicker than it came. And what's to gain? A heart and brain, a carcass frame, God's darkest game. A body's just a fleshy waste. Decays inside, a tomb encased. Tim, and granted, it's all delivered in the gruff, violent J stylings of, I don't want to say it, but Michigan garbage.
And for our listeners and also viewers, when he says violent J, he of course means Joe Brew, so no one's confused.
Nobody knows your stupid names for them.
Big Baby Chips.
You confuse me so much.
Big Baby Sweets.
Thank you. I was going to say, your entire history was based on 3, what I presume to be feature films.
Not feature films, certainly.
Okay, 3 Redbox exclusives was easier to follow than when you refer to them by your abbreviated real names. You make it so hard to do this.
Yes.
Is what I'm telling you.
Well, it's weird that you stopped right there, because you stopped with a body's just a fleshy waste, decays inside a tomb encased. The only good thing is the taste. I chomp a mouthful of the face. It appears as though he's opening tombs and eating faces.
Well, I don't know if he allows them to get to the tomb. I think he's murdering people and going straight to that, as you often say, quote, delicious face meat.
Well, the face meat is the most delicious, but he says specifically decays inside a tomb encased.
I think he's saying the body will go to waste if it just sits decaying in a tomb. Why not?
Right.
Those
yes.
faces?
And you know what?
Yes.
That is good logic. I mean,
yeah, I appreciate you stopping short of saying I completely agree, which is definitely what we all heard. And for the viewers, I know some of you, our viewers, saw.
We're living on a planet of finite resources, parents. There's a lot of meat that we just don't consume. And I think that
Faygo is people!
Due to our licensing deal with Faygo, Faygo is not people. Faygo is an industrial solvent and a beverage, a
2032. If Tim has his way, Faygo will be people.
Track number 4, Clown Drippin'.
Wanna wrap all up, cocoon and live in them. It won't come out as ecstasy, no doubt.
So, Garrett, this is about the discharge of a clown.
It's coming from somewhere, and we are going to spend the next 10 minutes figuring out where it's dripping from.
True. And I assume that these boys' discharge is as carbonated as Faygo, but also as acidic as the blood of a xenomorph XX121, or also Faygo.
Yeah, I mean, it is, and that's confirmed in the song. Spoiler alert, they are oozing acid.
Most troubling of all, though, how much clown discharge there is. It's not even that there is clown discharge. It's the fact that there is just, we'll get into it. It's a lot.
Can it be both?
It can.
I'm upset that there's any discharge whatsoever. I'm upset that we've already used the word discharge repeatedly and haven't read any lines yet. The song opens with a bunch of gremlins laughing, and that's great. It's produced by Shaggy the Airhead, who cannot be confused with the band member Shaggy, aka whatever Tim said.
Joe Utz, for clarity.
Right, sure. You're going to sound so stupid later, you don't even know. Anyway. The song goes, Jugs, we love 'em. Scrubs, life livin'. Faygo chuggin', no fucks given. Thugs, we shove 'em. Fuck forgiven. Fake jugga-hoes who front for a livin'. Pretty standard juggalo opening. No indication of dripping whatsoever yet.
True.
It must suck to hump a dick and plate up something you punks was given. Let's we hug 'em. A few we dip in. Always wicked clown drippin'. I think what they're saying is it must suck to get fucked over and be forced to play stuff that is written by other people and be at the mercy of the record company. I think that's what the humping a dick and plate up something you punks was given is.
I don't think these guys work with metaphors.
Let's just leave that there then. The second half, let's we hug 'em, a few we dip in, always wicked, clown drippin'. We've not really gotten into the drippingness of the clown yet, but it is the first mention of said leak. Tim, at this point, do you have any context, any idea, why are they so moist?
Well, they're moist for a variety of reasons, and you know this, Garrett. The clown lifestyle leads to a number of issues. Now, Faygo, great product
Constantly on
that
you.
it is. Yes, it is constantly on you, both because they have sprayed you with it, and also because your blood content it's more Faygo than blood. You're sweating out Faygo,
Yeah.
exactly. Both blood and Faygo are sticky when on the skin, so you're going to be sticky, you're going to be moist. This is not a metaphor. This is not about the music industry. This is about the discharge of a clown.
All right, let's see how it unfurls. Because if I'm sent to hell, at least you know I'm there to slay the beast. I rally all the wicked clowns in a pack like fang-licking hounds. 2 shanks apiece, position, attack, nut shank incision sounds. I have no idea what this has to do with dripping clowns, other than, best I got, if sent to hell, he will create a juggalo army of his fellow sinners and cut off balls till he escapes from hell.
I think he's there to assassinate Satan. It's,
Ooh, I like that.
yeah.
Okay, well, the song continues, and this is where things get at least a little... Actually, no, they don't get any clearer. It's too dope with a ball sack big as the Tokyo Air Dome. I bounce around on them because they don't give my legs room. These hoes want to wrap all up, cocoon, and live in them. What?
Ladies?
His giant...
Yes,
giant-
ladies...
Women want to live in his giant testicles.
Or just to have, like, you know, like those bean bags, they want to, like, wrap themselves and kind of, like, pile them on themselves. Yeah. His testicles, yeah.
Sure. He says, and won't come out. It's ecstasy, no doubt. I forgive them. They know my clown swag emits from my scrotum. Scrotum and forgive them does not rhyme. Sorry. I forgive again, scrotum and scrotum wouldn't even rhyme.
Well,
What
the
are we
line before is
doing
live
here?
in them, and then it's forgive them, which also doesn't rhyme, but...
Well, yeah, but it's...
Because
these hoes want to wrap up, cocoon, and live in them,
Garrett,
and
no,
won't come out. It's ecstasy, no doubt. I forgive them.
Scrotum is supposed to rhyme with hold'em, which also doesn't work. But, you know what? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think it's that. Oh, also, what's clown swag, and why is it coming out of his scrotum? Is clown swag semen? Clown semen?
No. It's his pride. It's his swagger.
I see. Emitted from his testosterone or high amounts of testosterone, giving him a false sense of security.
No, absolutely not.
No?
It does not come from his testicles, Garrett. It comes...
You said scrotum.
Yes, from the ball sack.
Okay. Listen, I've spent... I don't know what we're going to edit this down to, but conservatively an hour now. Apologizing, complimenting, ICP. Are you about to tell me that these guys walk around being proud not of their testicles or testicles and sack which contains said testicles, they're nuts. You're about to tell me that these guys take pride in the scrotum, the sack, the skin, the pouch, the coin purse.
Absolutely.
But not what lies within.
Absolutely. And in fact, they don't have necessarily big testicles, they just have a big scrotum. And here's how I know. Because
what?
It doesn't say
What does that even look like?
It looks like a cocoon with a hoe wrapped up in it, because that's what the hoes want to do, Garrett. They want to pull the skin around themselves, wrapping themselves like a cigar, a Cuban cigar, if you will, or a cocoon.
If anybody is even close to my age and watched MTV and they're picturing The Head right now as a cartoon in the 90s, that's what I'm picturing too. Gross. A woman living in a man's scrotum. You're disgusting. I'm also just curious, and I'm not going to Google it, but I'm curious, I'll even just say average size testicles in a huge scrotum look like? What is that? It's got to happen.
You know what? I've painted our house. I will make a collage on the walls for next week.
You know what? You can't make it worse.
I can. It will be testicles. Well,
yeah, I'm curious though.
Scroti. Garrett, let's talk about the chorus.
Ooh, may I do the chorus?
Oh, please.
Now, Tim, it is, if I may, bitch, I'm clown, dripping, wicked clown, dripping, drip, fall down. Splashing off me, I'm drip, 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 the wicked clown dripping. Tim, I love this chorus. I'm clown dripping as well, just listening to it, and I don't even know what it means. Tim, what does it mean?
Well, we've talked about the majority of this song is going to be about the testicles.
I thought you said it was going to be about the scrotum.
Well, okay, sure, the scrotum. This is about a scrotal infection, a genital infection that is causing enough discharge for splashes to happen. There's enough for a continuous drip. There's enough to make a splashing sound. They are proud of this.
I mean, you're right. How else can we possibly explain it? It's probably a bit of a nuisance at urinals, right? Certainly has to explain it to his partner. Now listen, this is going to get a little messy. I have an ooze from an infection in my scrotum. Don't worry, the testicles are pristine. It's strictly a skin thing. Really, it's just that I have it's the ratio that's the problem. I've got a lot of folds. I have an overly sized scrotum, very average sized testicles. They're going to look smaller. This is a lot of preamble for a first time sexual experience, but I think it is necessary. In fact, previous experience would tell me it's important. Testicles, completely normal size. They're going to seem smaller. It's just a proportions thing, but I do have a lot of extra scrotal skin. It's a big nut sack. The sack, though, not the nuts.
But here's the thing. Normal. Here's the thing. When that infection clears up, you can wrap yourself in them like a cocoon, and you'll enjoy that because of the warmth, is what I would say
I am very much picturing a Francis Dollarhide situation at this point. God, Tim. Oh, do you see? But yeah, naturally, if you got a bunch of folds and stuff, and it'd be hard to clean, and maybe he's a little overweight, so he can't actually see it. So yeah, that thing's oozing and splashing all over the place.
You're making it gross, man.
They made it gross.
Yeah, they did.
The song continues. This wicked clown can morph his shape into whatever I create.
Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. They may not be true clowns, but they do know about true clowns.
Yeah, they've met a clown or two, that's for sure. Because that's the thing. A power of clowns.
I think if you have a clown festival, probably a few true clowns show up thinking, oh, this will be a festival of my brethren. And they get there and it's just a bunch of fucking juggalos. But occasionally they might want to confront the organizers, aka Joe Brew and Joe Utz, and demand hey man. And then, while they're there, they're just like, you just look like a normal juggalo to me. And then, they transform their face into some sort of horrible, I don't know, giant-mouthed, giant many-toothed creature.
Well, in this case, they would transform their face into, quote, got Brock Lesnar's body with Prince's pretty purple face. Now I'm a giant tarantula. No, a Southwest strantula. It's not a word. With a wicked clown's head, legs, tangled, perp, and stankula. So he'd be some sort of spider monster. Now, Tim, this does sound a lot like the second half of that original made-for-TV movie of It, including the giant spider. But
right, because all clowns, true clowns, can change into giant spiders or really any object of their choice. Why they choose to stay clowns is beyond me.
It's a pride thing. You know who I think might be a clown, and please don't sue me because if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Ray Liotta.
That makes a lot of sense. And
right?
Here's the thing I don't understand, because we've been over this. A lot of times they're wearing people makeup over their clown face. And it's always bothered me, because if they can change shape, why do that? Why not just change into something else? And I think it's that effect because they want the effect of occasionally some of it gets wiped off. You know, whenever they, to truly transform, it's actually far scarier if you wipe off makeup and you find, oh, Jesus, there's been a clown under there this whole time that I didn't notice. Because if it's a shapeshifter, you can be forgiven. That's not your fault. That's like knocking the chip bag out of your hand the first time. But if it's just poorly applied human makeup over a clown's visage, that's your fault. You should have known.
Absolutely.
You shouldn't have gone back to that hotel.
Okay. Did you go to a hotel with Ray Liotta? You know what? Don't answer that. Song continues, gets a little nonsensical. Abracadabra, woo. Abracadabra, dabba-doo. Woo. I'ma keep a stabbing you. Woo. Till I'm stabbing a slab of goo.
I kind of like that line, to be honest.
I knew you did. Racist cops get chopped, eyes popped out, and rocks popped in with a sharp-ass bony knee to the neck as they face get socked in Faygo soda pop. Still some sense of vengeance to this whole thing. You gotta be a bad guy before you meet the abracadabra-doo, I'm stabbing you fella.
Yeah.
Song wraps up with clown crews pull up for a meet and get giddy. Folks shook staring at our fleet like big titties. We give not a fuck, wide open chump. I'm clown drippy like Faygo. I'm lost at sea. We stay sticky.
Let me stop you right there. What is this simile? What is like Faygo? He is lost at sea? Like, was Faygo once lost at sea? What does that mean?
We give not a fuck, wide open chump. I'm clown drippy like Faygo. I'm lost at sea. We stay sticky. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know. Maybe I'm missing.
Wait, okay. Oh, no, I get it. Like Faygo, we stay sticky. I'm lost at sea is I'm clown drippy. He's lost at sea with his horrible scrotal infection. Christ, we have actually devolved into scroty booger balls. This is a new low for the show, I have to say. But it is ICP inspired. That's not our fault.
Anyway. Yeah, that's fair. But okay, so you're saying that he is producing a sea's worth of discharge. Let's move on.
I think he's just never heard of penicillin. Track number 5, Gangsta Code.
Hiding like some pussy hole lips at life 7, 14.
It starts off with a little bit of maybe slide guitar.
Yep, that was an odd choice, but I didn't mind it.
No, but
this whole album is an odd choice.
Yes, this is maybe not the type of song you should put out there if you are concurrently arguing to the FBI that you are not forming some sort of clown gang, because it sends a mixed message at best.
Yeah, it does kind of imply a bit of a gang mentality. But, Tim, before we get into the details, I just want to say, this is the only band we do that consistently either matches or exceeds the expectations of my notes. Oftentimes, as I'm listening to a song and I start to get a concept of what it might be about, or at least what I think I'm going to talk about it's about, I start writing down furiously where I think it's going to go. And my God, kudos, ICP. This time, nail on the head. I'm right there with you, lockstep, all the way. What a great song. It's weird to hear them do a traditional gangsta rap style from the 90s in 2021, but that's kind of their thing.
Yeah.
To various degrees. They're slow rappers for the most part. We get a little bit of some speedy stuff later, but by and large, it's kind of a hip-hop, a hip to the hip-hop, etc.
Yeah. So this song starts off, that shit was fun but close, almost buttered my toast. Now let me stop me right there. I think they're using buttered my toast as a euphemism for killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it means banged, right? Like, I've heard you say, I really buttered her toast last night to an intern before insisting on a very reluctant high five.
And a gift basket.
Oh, sure.
But again,
You're insisting they give you a gift basket?
No, the other way around, Tim. Jesus Christ, I'm not a heathen. Most importantly, though, we've got a giant sign, one of many signs here in the studio, to remind Tim of the things he should and should not talk about. And
Garrett's sexual prowess is number 2. What's number 1, friend?
Oh. Number 1, we don't even say the title of. Gino, get the orientation video ready. No, after. Jesus.
Anyway.
Did you give him macaroni and cheese?
Yeah. What?
Anyway.
That shit was close, almost buttered my toast. I took a slug, pow. I'm too big to duck behind a light post. We don't go soft, no. I wipe my Nikes off. Yo, one of our soldiers died, a slight loss. I'm glad y'all brought his body back, discreet under the sheet. Can't leave him laying in the street.
We gotta stop there.
Dead in defeat.
All right.
And if his face complete, sorry.
I hate you. Well, there's two things I want to call out here. First, we get a very good sense of what this song is about. We come in just after a traditional street battle. You know, shots were fired on both sides, but they're regrouping, and the person singing the song took a shot to the leg.
Yes. Again, to be clear to the FBI, not a street gang.
Of course not. This is all very hypothetical, I'm sure. Now, the part you started to read, Tim, the only reason I wanted to pause you is he says, I'm glad y'all brought his body back. Discreet under the sheet. Can't leave him laying in the street, dead in defeat. The most important thing that you must take away in order to understand the rest of the song is that there was this battle. One of their comrades fell, and they've placed him under a sheet, and they've brought him back to their clubhouse. I don't know how gangs work.
They have clubhouses, yeah.
Okay. Then the song continues. So quit crying over dude, man. Man the fuck up. Stand the fuck up. It ain't your fault he ran his luck up. I took a bullet too, pow. But I ain't tripping. Let's pop the clips in, but don't be like him and get caught slipping. So obviously you'd be sad if one of your fellow gang members were to take a bullet and die, but our main character says, you know, he knew the score. That's the game we're out here playing. That's the code of the street. Move on. Quit mourning. Let's grab our gats and retaliate. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
Cool. So pretty cut and dry and linear, which is shocking for an ICP song. And though it is about a gang war of violence and retaliation, pretty tame by their standards so far.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody's sitting around all sad because their buddy died. And our protagonist, I guess, continues. See, y'all are oh, this is where more singing happens. See, y'all are gonna follow me, no questions. And stay true to the G code. And I won't. I'm sorry.
Man, this sounded so much like something, and I racked my brain all week trying to figure out what it was. Could never do it. But there's something in my head that this is identical to, and it's driving me crazy. Please tell me you thought of something.
I didn't figure it out. I've got a few like that on this album, and I think it's the and stay true to the G code portion. So listeners, write in hatePodMail@gmail.com. And yeah, I've seen the comments on Reddit. Some of you are viewers. Congratulations. Let us know, what the fuck does this sound like? And I'm going to ask you that about 3 more times on this episode, and maybe the next one too. We'll see.
Yeah. The post-chorus sounds like something that, again, mainstream rap was doing in 94. Live by the streets, die by the streets, never get above it, never gonna flee the laws of the streets, tried by the streets, never get around it, never going free. It sounds like this could be Coolio, maybe? At least the words.
Oh, yeah.
Not the delivery.
Yeah, money and the power, power and the money.
Yeah.
Minute after minute, hour after hour. But only ICP has lyrics like, I said killers get to riding, bust full clips, but y'all still in here hiding like some pussy hole lips.
Okay. I feel like there's at least one word in there we didn't need.
Yeah, pick one, guys. It's called an economy of words. And sometimes less is more. Pussy hole lips. I'm offended by at least one of those words.
Yeah, I got you actually a sweater with this stanza on it. An ugly Christmas sweater. And I thought we could go caroling in it.
I don't think I'll wear that outside. Tim, I don't have a lot of boundaries, and I have made an ass of myself in public for your amusement a number of times. I don't think I can wear something that has pussy hole lips embroidered on it. I'm uncomfortable saying it.
I can wear that one. The other one I have is get even. Is that your heart beating or your Nedden queefing? If you'd prefer
I'm
to
fine
wear
with that. I don't think most people know what a Nedden is.
But they know what
and anybody who
queefing
does,
is.
I don't care about.
Fair enough.
Ooh, song continues. Oh yeah, death before dishonor. Hey, waited by your word. Who the fuck inspired you? Big Meech or Big Bird? Tim, do you know anything about Big Meech?
No.
Big Meech is a founding member of the Black Mafia family drug organization, and holy shit, is this an interesting topic. I'm not even going to get into it one bit, but if I do have the opportunity for a solo cast, I'm going to start getting it ready. I do also think there might be a documentary and or dramatization on, I don't know, Epix or Stars or some other fucking network nobody watches. But my version will be better.
Okay.
But they were like a national or international, I guess, technically drug cartel with links in Sinaloa, and Big Meech is in prison for, all that business. Good stories.
Most of this song, though, appears to be just bad arguments for why juggalos should die on the behalf of these two idiots, right?
Yeah, and you need to stop with all of your mourning.
Is it possible this is going to turn into a real gang? Nope. It's going to be a religion.
It's going to be a religion. You've hit the nail on the head. But in this fantasy version, he says, what's up with all this bitchatism? This shit is blasphemy. You need to blaspheme. bloody a masterpiece. The way y'all sitting around crying over this one dead busta made me think he blew a mean dick. He musta. So, if you care about your friend who was killed in front of your eyes, he must have been a gay. Or you're a gay, you're both a gay, and what's up with this bitchetism?
Yeah, I mean,
It is ICP, after all, folks.
Yeah, well,
it's not all going to be sunshine and rainbows.
Sure. Sometimes your friend dies, and then your clown boss's response is to infer that you had some sort of homosexual relationship with him because you're affected by it. And I think, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, pretty standard clown code. Last verse I'm going to read before the last verse is, what could mean more than a rag flying? Kids dying, tough shit, who cares about them? They fucked. And that fool under the sheet, he should have ducked. You ask when does it stop? When we on top. To the 9 with the slide, let the bombs drop. This guy doesn't give a fuck, Tim. He's hardcore, raised in the streets, just wants to make it even, retaliate for that fool that's under the sheet. It's his own fault for not ducking.
Absolutely. There's another line in here that's kind of interesting because he says at one point, my slugs will leave you leaking.
Yep.
Now, what we learned from the last song, what I'm now worried about is that man's genitals were leaking blood.
Well, maybe his ample scrotum was shot, but it's a through and through. It's all skin, but he did not take care of it very well, so he went from leaking to clown dripping, wicked clown dripping.
Gross, but that does add up.
It does add up. Now, Tim, you and I know how this ends. I'm curious if the listener, and sure, some of you, come on, you're viewers, and we appreciate it. Find the feed. But this is what I was referring to at the start of the song when I said, up to this moment, my very first listen, I wanted this song to end one way and one way only. On your first listen, sir, did you have the same instinct?
I mean, I assumed it was going to end in one way, yes.
Really? So you think it was heavily telegraphed? Listeners write in, hatePodMail. You just wanted it to be.
Maybe not even listening to it. Maybe just reading the title, I thought it was going to end in one way. I'm not saying they telegraphed it. I'm just saying I have some very significant preconceived notions that leads me to believe that this can only end in one way.
Wait, okay. That last sentence makes me think we might not be talking about the same thing. What are you talking about?
Well, this story turns on its head, Garrett. He's a ghost in the room.
Page. Whoa. Gotta read the lyrics, Tim.
No, well, you asked me what I was talking about. Talking about the fact that he's a ghost in this room. Anyway, go ahead.
Thought you were going to dance around it. Fucking tragedy. Look what I took for the team. Hold up. Where's the mirror at? What the fuck? Where's my reflection? How could this be true? Wait a minute. Let me lift this sheet up off this dude. My God. There I am. Bullet hole in my forehead. It's me you've all been mourning. I'm on the floor dead.
So...
Boom!
Now, here's my question. Is he implying that he gives a great blowjob? Is that what this whole song is about?
No, because it's a...
I think he's just trying to...
dirty bird.
I think he's just trying to sneak that fact in, right? Because he's saying whoever's dead must have given a great blowjob. Oh, it's me. I'm the dead one. But I'm not...
Well, see here, that infers that he knew he was the dead one. And I think you've got to assume it is a Sixth Sense situation. Spoiler alert on a 20-year-old movie. He doesn't know he's a ghost.
Fair.
He has no little boy to haunt, though.
That's not true.
They don't see him, though. None of them see him.
Well, sure. None of these guys see him. He needs a boy to let these guys know.
He's got to find his Haley.
Right.
His HJO. That's a weird...
Call him that.
Yeah, that's a weird set of initials. Listen, that's tough. Sorry, HJO. God, every time... I can't believe I was going to try to move on from H. Joe. Oh, insane. Every time I see that guy, he looks even funnier. And by that, I mean amazing. H. Joe, we love you here on the show. Come on the show. Anyway, track number 6, Queens. All right, gang, that's where we're going to cut it off this week, and we've barely even gotten started. If you can believe it, the unedited length of this episode is something like 3.5 hours. After we edited out the name-calling and the slap fighting and the impromptu dog-off, we were still at like 2:40. So, we've broken it up into 2 episodes, cutting it off there, right at track number 6. We'll pick back up next week. We hope everyone has had, is having, and continues to have an excellent IC Pissmas or IC Penis, depending on where you're from. We'll be back next week with tracks 6 through 17, and I gotta tell you folks, things get sketchy towards the end. We start to lose it a little bit, and you don't want to miss that. So, as always, if you can, reach out to us, hatePodMail@gmail.com. You can also go to hatepod.com and find most of our episodes. I'm working on getting the website updated, bear with me. But you can also find and contact us in the upper left-hand corner. You can click on that. It'll ask for an email. That's just so we can reply. We don't mark it at you. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Ideas, weird stories related to the songs, albums, or theories that we present here on the show. Haven't got nearly enough artwork lately, although we have started to see some more song submissions. If your song submission is good enough, we will play it on the show, and it may even become a theme song, front or back or both. So we want to hear from you. You can also reach out to us on Instagram. That's HatePod. Twitter is Album HatePod. I'm at GHarveyTweets on Twitter. Tim's on Instagram, but it's a secret, so don't worry about it. He won't follow you back anyway. Alrighty. I think that's about it. Hope everybody's enjoying their time off, and if you're working, hope this helped to make the day go by just an ounce faster. For Why I Hate This Album, I have been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. Tim is furiously cleaning the walls right now and cannot be bothered. We'll see you next week with part 2 of ICP's Yum Yum Bedlam.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. I joined the Navy, got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. Try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. No, it's a lobster murder sex thing. It's the bleaching of the rear. A full assault on both your ears. The riffs are too repetitive. The lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides. The cover art's a mess. Listen to it for a week. Now that week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Gary.